Hi guys, White Witch 110 here. This evening, January 2nd, is story time. It's a story that I wrote. I haven't reread it, so let's take a stab at it now. It's called Grandma's Here. The children huddled around the register in the hall for warmth. Winter had arrived, and the old windows blew cold around their edges. Paper towels shoved in the cracks did little to help. Each wrapped a woolen blanket part way around them to catch the heat. The furnace clicked, and the sigh of warmth echoed through the house. Winter was a horrible time for the family. The joy of summer was sucked dry from their bones. Children wore layers of clothing, the short distance to school. Father drove the old beater to work without the heat, his breath misting the air with each exhale. Mother stayed home every other day. Every other day she cleaned house for a nominal rate of pay. They weren't poor, but they weren't rich. Comfort arrived in spring and left in fall. Repairs to the house had been costly, eating the small savings they had. The roof and wiring had proved above the amount they had anticipated. When a new furnace was required, they survived on makeshift repairs. When these proved dangerous, the savings account was emptied. New windows were far from now. Terry towels and plastic became the routine. Blankets stowed for the warmer months made a return. Searching the attic for a misplaced box, Marge, Mom, found a small wooden container. She had never seen it before. Mind you, Ed had always brought down the blankets. She normally refused to go to the space below the roof. Marge took a seat on the cedar chest, now empty. She turned the small box over in her hands. The carvings were elaborate. Workmanship you never seen these days. Marge carefully opened the latch, afraid it might break. Inside, she felt the silk lining and cushioned bottom. There was something cold to the touch inside. Marge turned herself to the tiny light bulb to see better. Her fingers ran over the brilliant blue and red sphere. Glitter swirled, adorned the top. Marge lifted the delicate ornament out of its wooden box, placing the box beside her. Holding it carefully by the finial, she admired the way in which the dull light caught the twinkle of the glitter. The finial slipped from her fingers. Her heart sank for a moment. Her nimble hands took hold again. She breathed a sigh of relief. Quickly and mindfully, she placed the ornament back in the oak box. Marge held tight, making her way back down to the living room. "Where's the Christmas blanket for the couch?" her eldest daughter inquired. "Oh goodness, I forgot. I found this box hidden during my search. I was so enamored by its mystery, I left it behind." "Go up top, Tracy, and get it. I left it on the chair by the stairs." Tracy was less than a fan of the attic than her mother. When they first moved in, the young woman swore she heard movement above her room from the space. Fast as possible, Tracy flicked on the light, ran the steps, collected her grandmother's Christmas quilt. "Here it is." She laid it by her mother, who had opened the small box again. "That space creeps me out," she told her mother. Did you switch off the light and lock the door? Marge asked her daughter. Yes. Terry took a seat by her mom. It's beautiful. I've never seen it before. Who did it belong to? Grandma? No, I have no idea. It was likely left by the former family. I wonder if they have asked the realtor about it. I would have. A tag inside says crafted in 1900. It survived all these years. Wow. New decorations barely last 5 years before falling apart, Tracy observed. This has been treated with respect. I'd be sick with worry as to where it had gone to, Marge told Tracy. Can we put it on our tree when it goes up? I need to check with our realtor first, if no one has inquired about it. Marge's answer gave Tracy hope that they would place it on their tree. There was no confident feeling in response. The response would be no one. Ed arrived home at his usual time. Marge was excited to show him the treasure as much as her daughter. Did you contact Chris? I'm sure the family is searching their Christmas totes for this. Ed picked up his phone, found the number, and touched the phone screen. Hello, Chris? Yes, everything is fine. No, we aren't looking to sell already. I'm calling about a small oak box my wife found in the attic. There is a handcrafted glass ornament inside. The date says 1900. Chris assured them there had been no calls. Consider it a gift from the past. Obviously, your family was meant to have it. Marge and the other three heard the response on speaker. I knew it, Tracy exclaimed. I can't wait to place it on our tree. Can we put it up now? Her father laughed. At the end of the month. We're still in November. Just this once, Dad, please. What harm is it? The Tates have theirs up, Tracy told him. After the dishes were done, Marge spoke to Ed off to the side. Ed, Tracy hasn't been this excited for Christmas since she was a child. Losing Mom last year has made it difficult for all of us. If this will ease the pain, let her do it. Ed peered into his wife's eyes. It had been tough getting through the first. His hard, fast tradition would bend this year for good. When the weekend arrived, Tracy buried her fear of the attic. Come on, you two. Let's get the Christmas boxes down. Be careful. These ornaments can't be replaced. Her mind was fixated on the oak box. The tree went up as usual, Dad separating the branches, then placing them in the holes provided in the pole. They were sturdy, thick steel branches. Each ornament released from its storage held memories of generations of their family. Some of her father's, others of her mother's, and hers added to the stories. Tracy imagined her own children making their memories upon each one. Each ornament she continued caring for. Lastly, the angel took center place on top of the artificial tree. In unison, they smiled. Memories of Grandma filled the living room. Some tears fell, others were hidden. They were joyful and painful in the same. Mom, we nearly recalled the reason the tree is up. Tracy handed the oak box to her mother. No, dear, you take the honor. I only found it. You've taken it to heart, Marge gently said with a forced smile. Both of us will place it. Let's believe it is a gift from Grandma, even though it was never hers. Together, their hands gently handled the blue and red ornament. Marge placed one of their fancy hooks on the finial. Tracy placed it near the top of the tree. Tracy closed the lid of the box, standing back to admire the tree. The bottom slid open. She gasped, believing the bottom had broken. It hadn't, in fact. A secret space revealed a note written on the handmade paper. It was brown with age, and the ink faded, though still able to be read. "Till we meet again," Tracy read the old cursive print. "Maybe this is a gift from Grandma." She glanced over to her mother, taking a seat on the sofa. "Don't be silly, Tracy. This belongs to someone else," her dad reminded her. "Yes, but we found it when we needed it. We're all heartbroken Grandma isn't here. We all remember how much she loved this season. The holidays meant so much to her and Granddad. They helped Mom to find it. Grandma misplaced the quilt so she could find the oak box, and I would find the note." Tracy was desperate for her father to agree. "It's all a fanciful story, Tracy, but is just an ornament left behind by someone else." The room felt heavy. The excitement of the story she had woven was gone. She didn't hate her father for it, but she was very disappointed. He could have at least entertained for her younger brother and sister. Quietly that night, in their separate rooms, she assured the children it was a sign from their beloved grandmother. This seemed to ease them all to sleep. In the middle of the early morning, Tracy awoke in her bed. Her mother was jerked awake. Without upsetting her husband's sleep, Marge pulled on her housecoat. Slowly, she turned the knob to their bedroom door. The hallway was cold, and her thin slippers were no comfort for her small feet. The sound of footsteps on the staircase frightened her for a moment. Taking notice of a faint shadow, it was her daughter. "What are you doing up?" Marge demanded to know. "Something woke me. I don't know what, but I felt I needed to go downstairs." Watching her mother hold tight to her housecoat, Tracy inquired as to why she was up. "I don't know," her mother answered, the same as her daughter. A noise came from the living room to their ears. "Someone can't have gotten in," Marge said. "Could it be mice?" "That sounded like Grandpa's bell." Tracy moved a step forward. "This isn't a Christmas carol. Why, it's not even Christmas Eve." Marge attempted to stifle a building fear. "We aren't Scrooge. That was Dad." Tracy was immediately apologetic for her words. "I understand, sweetheart, but that's how Dad handles his feelings. Believe me, he hurts just as much as we do. He was very close to my mom. He never knew his. His memories are vague because his father kept him from her when she was ill. Pneumonia took her life." Tracy felt all the more horrible for her statement. "He's never told us. We know Grandpa passed from a fall from a ladder. Both memories are ones he'd rather not have. Unfortunately, you'll learn one day the actual pain and emptiness he feels. We both feel. Things are never the same once your parents are gone. We're the common ground, the rock. You'll eventually all go on your own ways. Life will move quicker, times become busier. Every generation experiences the same. Our wish is that you will still continue to remember each other during the years with a phone call or a text message." Tracy hadn't expected such a serious conversation to take place on the staircase. This was now a memory embedded for her on this very step each time her foot touched it. Another noise made it to their ears. They held hands and proceeded down the steps. The banister hid them from whatever or whoever was below. They sat on the third last step, peeking through the spindles. A soft light glowed by the Christmas tree. The lights were on. Both women knew they had been unplugged. The light moved methodically around the sparkling tree. "What is it?" Tracy asked her mother in a whisper. "I don't want to say. We can't tell your father." In minutes' time, it disappeared, and the tree lights went off. A shiver, not of the cold, shot through them both. "Let's get back to bed before the rest wake up. We can't explain why we're up to them," Marge said directly to her daughter by a gentle touch to the small of her back. Sleep came in seconds to Tracy, quickly. Marge, on the other hand, lay staring at the ceiling, processing what she and Tracy had seen. Ed would sense there was something being kept from him, but her explanation he won't accept. He'd say it was a dream they had had, all because of that ornament from the oak box. Sunday morning, Ed was up making breakfast. Bacon and eggs aroma filled every inch of the house. Little tummies growled and tiny noses twitched. The children threw off their blankets, pulled open their doors, and bounded down the staircase. "My hungry gremlins, you ready for bacon and eggs?" Ed asked with a hearty laugh. "Yes," the two shouted in unison. "Judy, get the milk and orange juice out from the fridge. Thomas, you put the bread in the toaster." Order stated, the children proceeded with their duties. Marge met Tracy in the hallway. "Remember, not a word to your father." Tracy nodded her head. "Marge, dear, can I have a word?" Tracy, take over, please." Ed guided his wife to the living room. Instantly, Marge recalled only hours her experience. "What's up, Ed?" She was concerned, and it showed on her face. "Is everything all right?" she inquired. "I think it is," he began. "I had the strangest dream," he admitted, looking into the hall, making sure the children didn't hear. Especially Tracy. "I dreamt your mother was here in the living room by the tree. She was admiring the ornament you found." It must have registered on her face. "What's up?" Ed inquired. "I'm surprised you dreamt about her." Was that a good enough cover? "I haven't dreamt of her until last night. Must be children in the tree," he said. It certainly was the tree, and more specific, the ornament from the oak box. The words were close to slipping through her lips. In the kitchen, all was tidy once more. "Plans must be made for Christmas. I'd rather we didn't entertain this year," Marge opened up. "I'd be more comfortable with just us 5. Ed and the children agreed. The days counted down. Tracy assisted in sending out Christmas cards. By month's end, the cards to their family were filling the plaid ribbons that hung on the wall. Others hung on strings attached to the doorways. "It's looking very festive, Mom," Tracy observed. "Yes, Christmas turkey in the deep freeze, vegetables. There's no hurry for 'em." The first day of December brought a fierce snowstorm. The children were home from school. Ed in his study, working from home. Judy and Thomas played checkers in the living room. Tracy was finishing up her homework while Marge prepared the ingredients for supper. Each woman turned, hearing the children's conversation. "We're being good. Mom and Dad miss you." "We do too. Tracy cried a lot when you left," they heard Judy say. "Do you like the ornament?" Thomas pointed to the top of the tree. The women crept along the hallway, peeking round the door frame. They watched. Judy and Thomas were acting as though they were being tickled. "What the devil is going on?" Marge questioned. "I don't know, but they seem happy, whatever it is," Tracy said. The mother and daughter inched their way back to the kitchen. "I can't say what I'm thinking," Tracy added. Marge was ahead of her. "The white light we seen, it was a ghost." "Yes, but I don't believe there is anything to be frightened about. Maybe," her voice trailed off, "it was Grandma." Didn't take much to read her daughter's mind. She said what Tracy wasn't sure to say. Alone with Judy in her room, Tracy asked for the truth. "Judy, who are you and Thomas speaking to? You can tell me," she spoke calmly. "To Grandma, but you can't tell Mom and Dad. She said she watches over us. She's here to protect us. Grandma misses us." "Is she going to stay?" "Yes, until we leave. She'll be here to greet Mom and Dad when it's their turn. That won't be for a long time," she said. The information was mind-blowing. "So there's nothing to worry about?" Tracy wanted to be sure. "Nothing," Judy confirmed. "Okay, sweetie." Tracy tucked her sister into bed, leaving the lamp on by the bedside. Tracy checked on her brother. He was fast asleep. In the morning, Tracy relayed the conversation she had with Judy. "You're kidding. She's actually having conversations with my mom?" Marge was grasping at what she was hearing. "Why doesn't she come to see me?" "Because Judy and Thomas accept what we can't see. I really don't know, though that had to be her we seen that morning." The closer to Christmas, small things happened. Keys put on the kitchen table would be placed on their hooks. Packages of cookies left out would be in the cupboard. Toothpaste would have the cap replaced. Old family photos were found laying on the coffee table. Ed had taken the children shopping. Marge was finally alone. She sat in the living room by the tree. "Mom, it's not the same. We miss you so much. I wish you could have had more time. I wish you could have had more time with us. Your angel is at the top of the Christmas tree." A faint mist began to form. The figure Marge recognized right away. "Mom!" The figure smiled and blew a kiss. "I wish I could hug you once more." Marge felt the tear on her cheek. Her mother pointed to the ornament on the tree, then pointed to herself. "It's not yours. I found it in the attic. It would be wonderful if it was. I love you, Mom." Her mother gestured the same in response. Moments later, she vanished. Marge bowed her head and cried as she hadn't in months. The emptiness poured out of her. When Ed returned, he found his wife in this state of depression. "Tracy, take the children upstairs," her father directed her. "No, bring them here. Mommy needs a hug." Each child came forward. Marge held on to Tracy. "It was her. She came to me tonight while you were out." "See, Tracy, I told you Grandma was here. Isn't she beautiful, Mommy?" Judy asked. "Yes, dear, she is." Ed kept quiet. The room was high-charged with emotions. He sat in his armchair across from his wife. "Grandma thinks that ornament is hers. I told her no." The cell phone on the coffee table rang. "Hello, Chris." Ed's face went pale as he hung up. "This house," he looked directly at Marge, "belonged to your family years ago. Chris said that oak box in the photo of your family taken said that the oak box is in a photo of your family taken in the snow outside. The ornament belongs to you." Tracy picked up the box and opened the sliding compartment. The note fell out. She turned it over in her hand. A look of shock showed on her mother. On the bottom in ink was written, "To Marge, love Mom." "I'm named after my twice great-grandmother." "Mom," Trudy said, "Grandma wanted you to find it. She helped us buy this house. She wants you to know she still loves you. She loves us." The house suddenly felt warm. The family removed sweaters they had worn all winter. The house was no longer cold, despite the drafty windows. The house was kept cold, so you would go to the attic in search of the quilt and find the oak box. Grandma planned the entire thing. Their Christmas was joyous. The love of Grandma surrounded them. Grandma was close by as well. The end. I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed reading it. I'm very, very happy with that story. The other one I started writing, I've left aside. I don't think I'm going to finish it as always, but we'll see. So once again, I hope you did enjoy this evening's story, and I look forward to seeing you again. And until that time, ciao for now.